From the beginning. I mean, this has been 15 months of my life, and the last 11 months in post-production, just fine-tuning. You know, we knew we had something special. One of my producer partners is here with us, with me. We go everywhere and do everything together now because this is James Gibb. He's the man who saw this whole thing through and got us to where
he did.
We are.
He did everything.
We did it together.
Machine.
And so there's this attachment, you know, we have now doing all this together. But getting this to where we are now was such a feat. So you guys know me. I mean, I did 171 episodes of Vampire Diaries. It was my life. I worked hard to make sure that that character came to life, that the story always came to life and felt real, right? People always say, I'm an actor, I pretend to be some, you know, like, I make believe all day. And I disagree. I would say, as an actor, I try and tell the truth all day. Because you're in a make-believe situation, but you're trying to find truth in whatever it is that you're saying. So, as a producer of this show, and as the lead of this show, it wasn't just about what we got onto film, it was also about what we did to it after, and being in post-production for almost a year crafting this. And that was what was so great about working with Netflix and with IDW, is that we knew we had something special, so we begged and pleaded and groveled to get more time to do that, and they allowed us to do it. And so here we are. This isn't about me, this is about you asking questions. Talk to me.
So,
No. What up?
So,
sorry I'm munching, guys. I'm just starving.
No, keep munching. That's cool. So, share a little bit about that, though, right? You know, working on a successful show as a star, you know, you're acting in it. You know, you don't have to worry about many other things. But executive producing and directing some of the episodes and being the star of the show. What was the new things that you learned in that process, and what did you love? What did you hate?
Well, on Vampire Diaries, I still took so much stock in every frame, but on set, right? I didn't have the ability to go into a mixing stage of Vampire Diaries at Technicolor and say, I'd really rather move this sound over here, and can we bring this sound up 30% and bring his voice up a little bit here. No one was going to let me do that. The skill set that I learned on Vampire Diaries, I was able to bring into V-Wars. And I'm so grateful for it, for those skill sets, because it allowed me to produce this show at my best. It's a great responsibility. It's a lot of different stressors. When you're on set as an actor, you just want to do the best job. But also, too, as a producer, I'm there thinking, we've got to get out of this scene in a half hour, otherwise we're not going to make our day. All right, what can I do? I'm not directing this. What can I do? Okay, and then, you know, make sure you go talk to the DP and you talk to some of the crew and you go, guys, look, I love you guys. Don't kill me. We got to jam, right? Like, you know, let's bring craft service a little closer. Maybe, you know, everybody has like a cup of coffee, but we gotta go now. And I swear I'll get you out of here on time, but we gotta get this one shot, right? So please, guys, help me. Can we just barrel through this? And you're finding 5 minutes here you saved. You're like, yes, okay. And so it's not just being an actor. You're producing this thing. It's part of your DNA. It's like your baby. The show took me away from my family for months, although I got to be with my family a bit because my wife is so supportive. And even though she's building her company, while we sit here and talk about V-Wars, my wife is with Forbes right now talking about how fast her company is growing. So we were together for part of production, and she came and did us a huge favor. She was in the show with me. She did, I think, 4 episodes. played an amazing role, turned in these incredible performances, and, you know, was with our baby, played this amazing character, gave these beautiful, nuanced, incredible, powerful performances, and then went back to run her company. She was doing all this simultaneously. She's just a rock star. But when something takes you away from your family and your tiny baby, and then for the last 11 months, we've been in this like post-production, just like vortex, right? I was working till 3 and 4 o'clock every morning for like 4 or 5 months. And then the baby's up at 8 or 8:30. So when you're running on between 3.5 to 4.5 hours of sleep for months on end, it gets you. And I put my heart and soul into the show. We worked so hard on it, and this is where we are. So I'm excited to present season 1. Listen, here's the deal. Season 1 of shows, bless you, brother. Season 1 of shows are tough, right? Because you're just finding your footing, and you're finding characters. You're also finding the look. You're finding everything out, right? You're really building. Every day you're building. And you get it to that place where now you've got enough fluidity, and this is nonlinear television, right? So this is like, I had never done Netflix. It's always been on a network format. The thing about season 1 on a network show, on a network format, is you've got a really long runway. You've got 22 episodes.
Yeah, 6 months.
9 months. It's 9 months. So there are areas you can stumble through a couple places, right? It's like if you read a book that's got 22 chapters, or you read a book that's got 10 chapters. Mm-hmm. When it's condensed, every frame tells an even a bigger story. So it's more condensed and more intense. So this was all this learning experience to find fluidity, even with different directors, with different points of view. Now we've got it to this place. We knew we had something special, so we wanted to spend more time building out these creatures, building out the world. Fortunately, Netflix and IDW, that's the beautiful thing of working with them, is they let us do it. And now we've got the world at least started. And I'm encouraging anyone who watched me or Vampire Diaries or has any spare second to watch the show and not just give it a chance, just dive in. We worked really hard on it, and I think people will enjoy it, but it sets up the world going forward. And getting into season 2 and subsequent seasons, really get to expand the world and blow it out of the water and create these really unique, socially relevant, controversial juxtapositions. This show deals with a lot of the stuff that we're dealing with now. Borders, racism, disease, fear, politics, the politics of fear, how that plays into the psyche of society. These aren't things that we're only hearing in our own echo chambers. These are things that are out there, right? This is out there in the world around us. The climate issue we have, which is where this disease came from. As this ice melts, it's exposing things that have been safely trapped in this ice for millennia, possibly hundreds of millennia. As it's being exposed, it has the potential to wreak havoc on our society. And that's not just happening in our show. That's actually happening in the world right now. There's scientific article after scientific article after scientific article right now. Another one just came out this morning of the effects of the melting ice. We're going to see it in wildlife. We're seeing it now in livestock. And these pathogens, if they hit, it's like Luther Swan says this in the show. He said, an ancient form of Ebola, uncovered, exposed from melting ice, could wreak havoc and create an epidemic so big that it makes the bubonic plague look like a chickenpox party. Now there's 7.4 billion of us. So that's what makes this so unique to me. and it's very grounded and science-based. But man, the diversity aspect of it. Once I get to blow this out of the water, it's global, right? So it's these really unique perspectives, and we get to bring in characters from all over the world.
So, I mean, speaking of that, like, I know, like, with it starting out as, like, Jonathan Mayberry's story with the source material, I know that a lot of different authors, you know, chimed in with the story. Was it hard or challenging to go through the source material with different voices? Because I know a lot of the storyline, you know, from the source goes back to many different voices.
But that's what's so beautiful about it. That's what's so brilliant about Mayberry's approach. You know, it takes balls as a writer to not want to take all the credit.
Right.
Mayberry is so cool and so smart. He just basically is, he says, look, I'm a white guy, I live in San Diego, but I want to tell a story about a young girl in a border town. You guys are writers, you know, write what you know. So he brought in these amazing writers to weave these authentic perspectives and then intertwine them and weave them into thread of this overall, the fabric of this story. Those specific perspectives, that's what I love. It wasn't difficult at all going through the source material because those voices are so special and the perspective is so dense and palpable. That's what's exciting, you know what I mean? It takes a huge team. I mean, we've had a team of, I think 80 people working around the clock on this for a while now. We figure set, if you think of like The Office, you got about 30, and you're on set, you're about 90, that's 120 people. Then you have another additional 80 people or so in your post-production team, effects, all that stuff. I mean, you're talking about a lot of people. And then the artisans building sets and building the stuff out. It's an amazing amount of people. The look of the show, we only shot Vampire Diaries on Alexas, so I love that format. Because of the 4K aspect, we had to shoot V-Wars on the Red camera. The look of the show, we had an amazing, sort of very strange location that gave us a very unique look. It's supposed to be, you know, it's New York, it's the top tip, it's the Rust Belt, it's like good, strong, awesome, working class families, university. The color grading, which is another amazing art, you know, you're sitting with your colors for weeks in a dark room looking at these. You know, it's crazy because Netflix you're broadcasting in 4K, but you don't want to watch everything in 4K. 4K is like, to me, is, you know, it's the devil for actors and actresses and for set designers, because you can see every pore on someone's face. It takes away from feeling like you're watching a piece of art. It makes you feel like you're actually sitting talking to someone, you know what I mean? And so we took great care, weeks and months actually, finding a color palette that would advance and with the story. So, you know, when you start out, ooh, that was good. I got that one to finally pop. When you start out where there's no problems, everything is nice and normal and colorful, and as this story unfolds and as things sort of start taking a downward spiral, you know, you can start to suck the color out a little bit. And the viewer, it's very subconscious, but it's a very specific thing that we do. And just the creation of it all, the endless conversations. I mean, literally 4 a.m. conversations about like one shit, because then you're under a gun, then you've got to deliver, right? That, you know, the 4 a.m. conversations about like literally the light in someone's eye in 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 frames, and then you just say like, okay, it's 4 a.m. I love you. What are we doing? Like, we got to sleep. And then you get up fresh and you have another perspective. You have your cup of coffee and you go, yes, that is it. Yes, team, we made the right decision. This looks amazing. So this is like the detail of what I've been doing for the last year of my life. And it's the most amazing, rewarding thing. Even if you guys hate the show, for me to just sit here and actually talk about it being a delivered television show that's going to be on the air in 3 weeks is like a vacation. You guys are like a vacation.
How much preparation went into preparing for all these new things, like looking at the different colors, or was there a lot of learning on the job?
We did this pretty fast, and there was a lot of learning on the job. That's kind of the whole point. You're learning, you find really unique and amazing things on the day, but one of the unique parts, whether it's acting, producing, directing, it's all about preparation. Preparation. Because at the end of the day, if you're prepared, you're now open to new things that are maybe great, new things that are maybe not so great. And you can deal with them all in a level, constructive, and efficient manner. You know what I mean? So you go through great lengths to prepare. And that work ethic, I really sort of honed in on Vampire Diaries because it was so important for me to play that role to the best of my ability. So I would get the new scripts, I would read through the scripts, then I would literally wrap on Saturday mornings at like 5 in the morning, get on a plane, fly to LA, either do press or something that morning, then work on the script with my acting coach for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours, leave her house, get back on a plane, fly back to Georgia, try and get some rest on a Sunday, and then go back to work at like 4 o'clock Monday morning. Or work all day on a Saturday, break down my script all day with her on Sunday, get on a plane, fly back to Atlanta, land at like midnight or 5 in the morning on a red eye, and go straight to set. And I did this for 8 years. So that was dedication to make sure that that character, Damon, that I did him as much justice as humanly possible. If there were times I failed, it was failing while still doing the best I could,
So is there anything, as you continue to delve into this new character, is there anything you're surprised to learn about yourself as an actor?
Yeah. Oh, what's up?
Sorry, we just have about 2 minutes.
Oh, shit. I'll go fast. Sorry. It's not about me babbling. Would you repeat that?
Is there anything that you find you're surprised to learn about yourself as an actor as you delve into this new character?
Yeah, and that is the plight of the parent. I'd never played anything. I just became a parent. Well, now she's 2 years old, a little over 2 years old. But when we first started shooting the show, she was 9 months old. She's a tiny little baby. And so as a parent, your sole job in life at this point is to stay alive to protect that kid. That's it. So that energy, you bring it into every scene with you. It's always there. And I learned, there is nothing that can take that away from a parent. And that through line is the most organic, natural, unimpeachable emotion. It's not even an emotion. It's like part of your DNA, Another thing I learned was that on a set, when you're trying to act, you also have to trust the process and the team around you, because it's my job to get it on camera the best of my ability. Again, if there are times and scenes where I fail, it's failure at me trying to do my best. You know what I mean? So I accept it. And you learn more from your failures than you do from your successes. You're like, oh man, that performance didn't work as well as I wanted to because of X, Y, and Z. I'm not going to let that happen again. Or, but that it rarely happened on V-Wars. I was learning every second, but also so open and nimble because I would make sure that I was prepared. Because I didn't ever want to step on a set where, as an executive producer or a director or as a lead actor, someone comes up to me and they say, hey, I really don't understand this scene or this setup, or why are we doing this? There's not a second that I want to have to say, hey guys, can someone explain this? I mean, it's my job to know every aspect. And
It's like being a father.
it's like, yeah, kind of, right? Well, this show is our baby. This has been 15 months of my life. It's taken me away from my amazing family, my supportive and amazing family. Couldn't have done this without my wife being so supportive, while building our own giant company and breastfeeding and feeding our baby. But I did this to the best of my ability, and working so hard, that so much so that it's like put me in the emergency room for a second. You know what I mean? And for me, I think hell makes a great story. I won't do that again because now I know my limits. And you learn again from your failures more than your successes. So, c'est la vie, as they say, but I say, what an amazing journey. And I'm excited to share it with you guys because this is the first season of what I think, what I hope is something that resonates with you guys. That's a hit show. Fortunately for me, even my first show is a show called Young Americans, which was this WB show it only went a season, but it still created a lot of chatter and launched a lot of careers. But Lost and Vampire Diaries were these sort of tentpole water cooler shows, right? And I don't have any plan to not build water cooler shows, ones that make you think, ones that make you talk. And we just set up the world enough in season 1 to give you a taste of what we can expand this world to be, and the journey that Luther Swan is going to go down, and the world that's going to be created. So with viewership, that will give us a season 2, so I can, create these really sexy, dangerous, unique, and quite controversial storylines that I think will be hard-hitting and still not even diving into, but also addressing and getting into your skin and under your fingernails of those big current things that we're dealing with, which are our borders, racism everyone is experiencing, disease that we're all battling and fighting, the fear that all of us, and whether it's our individuals and households and our governments, are sort of experiencing, and the politics that surround it all, but without bludgeoning people over the head. It's not like I'm giving you my perspective. It's actually what's happening in the world. So I think that once we start seeing, and also too, I can't wait to, I know they have to go, but I also can't wait to sit in a room with an amazing, diverse group of men and women, writers, and really whiteboard out what are the big things that make society, that prop society up, right? Jenga game when wrong pieces are pulled out. And underneath all of it, for a time, Luther Swan is the one trying to hold these pieces up to find a race to find a cure so that he could stop this, because that's his passion and that's his expertise, is infectious disease. So I thank you from the bottom of my heart for listening. I'm sure it bored the shit out of you.
No, it's really
No,
interesting.
it's so fascinating.
But
The trailer looked amazing, by the way.
Oh, thank you. I mean, it's going to be fun, but just, look, check it out, share it with your peeps, and let's get into expanding this world and creating some really unique social juxtapositions that just flip us upside down, and build community around it. Look, if one person has a constructive and amazing conversation or something they learn from society or about themselves as a result of the show, then we have succeeded. Hopefully that's on a much bigger scale, but I'll just take one. Thank you guys.
Thank you.